Hey guys, it's Vicki, and today I'm here to share with you my 2018 reading goals and also to kind of reflect on my 2017 goals that I made. I'm going to start off by apologizing if I sound super stuffy. I am getting over a horrible cold that has wreaked havoc on our household for the past week and a half. It started with my daughter Leia. She had a horrible fever and cough and stuffy nose for 5 days, and we took her to the doctor, and it turned out she had RSV, which is this respiratory illness that to adults it's just like a cold, but for young kids, especially babies and the elderly, it can be really dangerous because it can quickly turn into pneumonia and stuff like that. And a pretty high percentage of babies that are under 1 that get RSV end up having to go to the hospital. So imagine my horror when my son, who's 5 months old, caught it. And he's getting over it though, and luckily did not have to go to the hospital or anything, and his lungs and everything are clear. He just has a cough and stuffy nose. But yeah, so Christmas here was kind of depressing because we ended up having to cancel our Christmas plans because we didn't want to pass our germs to anybody. So yeah, this Christmas we will look back and say, this was the Christmas where we were all sick and didn't see family or anything, which is unfortunate because this was Hunter's first Christmas, but what are you gonna do? Sorry, again, if I sound sick, because I am. But anyway, so the first thing I want to talk about though is my goals for 2017 and how they went. So at the end of 2016, I made a few goals. I wrote them down in this green notebook that I've had forever, and where I write down all the books I read and stuff. And for 2017, I wanted to read 25 books initially, and I surpassed that. I actually surpassed it pretty early in the year, so I upped my goal to 40, and I ended up reading 60. So that was pretty awesome. I tend to keep my goals kind of lower than I know I'm going to do because I don't want to stress myself out with reading and feel like I have to hit that number. So I try to make it a number that I know I'll attain. And 25 for me was a good number for this year because I started the year knowing that in the summertime I was going to have a baby, and it was going to be my second baby, and life was probably going to get kind of crazy, and so reading was going to become way not on the priority list. So yeah, I surpassed that goal. I read 60 books with an initial goal of 25, so yay. And then I also wanted to read 2 classics, which I did. I read Jane Eyre. I know that was one because that was one of my favorite books of the year. And I believe the second one was Cat on a Hot Tin Roof by Tennessee Williams. So I made that goal happen. And then I always have a goal to read a certain number of Stephen King books because I am trying to get through all of his books, and he has quite a few. So this year I had set a goal to read 3 of them, and I read 4. So good. I read Misery. Let me look at my list. I read Misery, Gwendy's Button Box, which was a new release this year. What was the other one? The other 2. The Colorado Kid and End of Watch. So I did that. And then I wanted to reread a couple of books. So I wanted to reread The Bell Jar and A Monster Calls, and I read both of those. So all in all, I did pretty good there. And then, of course, I wanted to start a YouTube channel. And I did. I started this channel in April, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm glad that I finally took the leap and did it, because it has turned out to be very rewarding and fun, and I have met so many wonderful people who are also book lovers like myself, so it's been really great. Okay, so those were my 2017 goals. So for 2018, they're kind of similar, but a little bit tweaked. This year I'm going to set my reading goal to 45 books. I think that that is very attainable considering I tend to read about 4 to 5 books a month just naturally. So that gives me also a couple of months to, if I slack off, I don't want to say slack off, but if I just don't read as much, or if I happen to read some chunkier books, which I do plan to do this year, that'll kind of give me a little bit of a buffer. I think 45 is a good number. And then I want to read more classics, because I read 2 classics, but I feel like I could read more. So I want to read at least 3 this year, which is still, I know, a very small number, but I have a lot of them on my Kindle that I've had on there for a long time that I'm like, I really need to get to these. And then the one big one that I really want to tackle this year, I'm pretty sure it's considered a classic, it has to be, right, is, let me see if I can find it really quick. I just reorganized some of my shelves. Not completely, but, oh, here we go. I want to read Gone with the Wind. I've had this for a while, and I've heard it's amazing, but it's huge. It's like over 1,000 pages. This particular copy is, anyway. So, but I've heard it's so good, and so this is going to be one of my 2018 goals, is to read this book. So yeah. The other classics, I'm not really sure. I know on my Kindle I have a couple of Charles Dickens books, and I think I have Anna Karenina, but I don't think I'm ready for that. If I'm going to read Gone with the Wind, I don't know if I'm ready to read another really chunky classic, so we'll see. Another reading goal that I have for this year is to read more books that I own, because it's getting a little out of control. As I'm sure a lot of you also have this problem, I just keep buying books because I just love them, but I have so many. I actually just today, I just pulled all of the unread books on my shelves and kind of grouped them all together so that I would like really know what I have that I haven't read. And it looks like I have 3 shelves of unread books. I don't have an exact number, but so I'm really going to try, because it's hard for me because I really love the library, and because there's something about going to the library and browsing around and picking out books and, you know, checking them out, taking them home. I just love using the library, but I think this year I'm going to try to scale back on that a little bit, as much as I love my library, because I have so many here to read. So that is definitely a goal. I'm not going to necessarily stop myself from buying books, because I don't actually buy them that often. A couple times a year I'll go on like a big buying binge, but yeah, I just need to read what I have. As far as rereads go, there are 2 that I want to reread for sure, that are kind of already in the back of my mind. Like, I've been thinking about them and kind of wanting to just review them. The first one being The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I read this in high school, and so it's been a while. And I was a teenager when I read it, so I feel like my mindset is going to be different this time, because the main character is a teenager, so I don't know. Maybe I will view him differently as a grown-up adult. I also want to reread The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. I read this, I think I was in college. It's been a long time though, and I just loved it though. It was just so like eye-opening. And it's about the meatpacking industry in Chicago in the early 1900s? Yeah, late 1800s, early 1900s. It was based on what was actually going on at the time, and the working conditions and everything were just abysmal. And this book actually brought about change as far as the industry goes, the food industry. So yeah, this is a good one, and I really want to reread it. And then for the Stephen King books, I want to try to read 4 or 5 this year. And I've been trying to read them in order, but I might jump out of order a little bit this year because, yeah, I'm just going to read what I want. But one of the ones that I do want to tackle is the Tommyknockers, because I've heard this one is kind of polarizing. Some people say it's really bad, but I don't know. I want to read it. I want to find out for myself. So this is one that I definitely want to check out by him. And then I'm like dying to read his new release, Sleeping Beauties, because it's getting really good reviews and it's being rated really well. It's about, he wrote it with his son Owen, and it's about what would happen if all of the women in the world something happens to them and they end up all like going into this deep sleep, so the men are just kind of left to fend for themselves, which is very interesting. So I've heard it's really good. And so yeah, I definitely want to check this one out as well. And it's a kind of a bigger one, so yeah. A lot of thick books that I plan on reading this year. Another series that I'm dying to start this year, and I'm hoping to buy the box set pretty soon with some of my Christmas money. I really want to read the Anne of Green Gables series because of YouTube, BookTube. I've heard so many people just gush about Anne of Green Gables. Kathleen from Worth a Thousand Words, Katie from Life Between Words, Krista from Books and Jams. I think Katie from Girl About Library has talked about Anne of Green Gables. So many of you guys have just gushed about Anne of Green Gables, and so I'm like, okay, I gotta get on this train and read Anne of Green Gables. So I think I'm gonna buy the box set and hopefully tackle the entire series in 2018. Alright guys, so those are my goals for 2018. I'm really excited about the year to come. I think that I have a lot of good books planned. I have so many good unread books on these shelves that I'm just dying to read. So it's going to be a fun year. Please let me know in the comments what your reading plans are. I know a lot of you that have channels have already been posting your reading goals for 2018, and I've just loved watching them because I think I'm like a planner. And I love setting goals like this, so these kinds of videos are just like right up my alley. So I love watching them. So please let me know in the comments what some of your goals are and what kind of books you're hoping to get to. And that's all I have for today. So I hope that the week is treating you well, and I hope that 2018 treats you well. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.